All right, it is 6:30, and I'm calling this regular meeting of the Board of Directors to order. So we'll go ahead and begin with agenda item number 1, which is comments and questions from district residents. Please be mindful that you are limited to 3 minutes only. Make sure you turn your mic on and give me a second to set the alarm. Chris Rocco.
Plus is green, it's on, right? Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Rocco, and I'm running for a director's position in November. I have 21 years of experience serving on this board. I'm planning to spend several more. I'd not planned to speak this evening, but some things have come up that I wanted to bring to your attention. I know that Linda's goal has been not to spend money. Well, low bid went out years ago, Linda. Now it's about best value. About 20 years ago they made that change, as a matter of fact. Recently I found out that the board, or someone at the direction of the board, took all the trash cans out of the park to save money. Well, that worked great because the new landscaper's contract doesn't include picking up the trash like the old one did, so they just mow over it. That's a great savings. Parks look like crap. And do you think residents are not picking up on the restrictive covenants not being enforced? Call or email me and I'll send you some photos. Motorcycles in the park. That's not what I expected to see when I helped design the park 15 years ago. And why wasn't a draft budget posted before this meeting? I would have loved to have had the opportunity to review it and talk about it this evening. I'd like to discuss some of the savings that I might have seen in it, but you'll not hear anything from me about a draft because it wasn't there. Like I initially said, I had not planned to speak tonight, but these 3 items came to my attention. I think they deserve to be mentioned. I do want to use this opportunity to remind voters that a collaborative board is the only way to ensure that your organization, the MUD, meets its organizational goals. In line with saving money, I'm just as much in favor as the next person. And in the time I spent on the board, I helped produce budgets that brought down the tax rate every year I was there, except for 2008 when we had the big property went down for everybody. Every year that I sat on the board, you paid less in taxes, not just the tax rate going down. Now, I've been told that the tax rate is going to go up a little bit, not just the rate, but the amount of tax that you will spend on your MUD taxes. Please, residents, when you're making your decision to vote for directors in November, please keep Carol and me in mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Tracy Brister, please.
Hi. I'm not going to take much of your time because I got a pickleball game, but that's why I'm here. I would like to ask if y'all would consider spending some money and reline the pickleball courts. Right now the pickleball courts are just a faded blackish gray and they're chipped on the edges and we really can't see the lines. And I am guilty of putting the tape, the yellow tape that's on the lines because I can't see the lines. So in the interest of everyone, and I'm sure the tennis players, they would probably appreciate it because they keep ripping it off and we keep putting it back down. So if y'all might consider relining those, that would be great. I think it would be safer for everyone. I'd also like to request some tree trimming away from the lights because we're playing in the dark on the back southwest corner. And then had one final thing there, but I've forgotten it. Anyway, that's all. I just wanted to ask if y'all would consider maintenance on the court to make it safer for everyone. I do believe that there are more pickleball players now than tennis players, because me and my friends, we keep it full. So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person, Tina Flores.
So I have a whole statement written out, but thank you, Chris Rocco. 15 years on the board, this man was okay with adding deed violation fines onto your water bill and turning your water off for it. So that's what 15 years gets you. Okay? Just so you all are aware. That's what 15 years gets you. 15 years gets you this man knocking on doorbells during the last election when David ran, spreading lies and rumors about our family. Video footage to show you all. If you want it, ask me. Letters. We got it. That's what it gets you. Who's he in cahoots with? That one right there. You want a collaborative board? Get rid of that one. She's your biggest problem. She's a pathological liar. She continues to attack David at every board meeting. You, Hanoi, and you, Kelly, you both are very well aware of the personal trauma that her and her posse has dragged us through the last 4 to 5 years, and the two of you continue to sit there and allow it to happen. Shame on both of you. You've sold your souls to the devil. Congratulations. Congratulations. But I'll tell you what, Chris Rocco, this board will never be collaborative with that one and you. We dedicated a whole park to Chris Rocco when he resigned. I'm retiring. Let's throw a party. Let's spend money. Let's dedicate a park. We've got a whole plaque in the park. You could go down and look at it. Chris Rocco retired. His one goal to get back on this board, take that man out, take that woman out. It is a personal vendetta for Chris Rocco, Beth Jones, Hanoi Avila. It's personal. It's not business anymore. Pay attention. That's all I got.
All right, Wendy Martinez.
This community deserves transparency and accountability. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Last week's decision to retain Infomark demonstrated a profound failure in leadership. Director Hanoi, despite clear evidence of Infomark's repeated failures and significant financial impact to your residents, you chose to override expert advice to protect a failing contractor. This isn't just a poor choice, it's a betrayal of public trust. Each of you were presented with clear evidence of Infomark's repeated failures in this district. You went against this evidence, the advice of your attorney, and the testimony of your engineer, to retain a contractor that has cost this district over $1 million in just the past 2 years. You've created a financial burden for every single property owner in this district without explanation and without remorse. Director Kelly, there was so much hope for your tenure, yet after just 1 year, you succumbed to power, acting in a manner both dishonorable and unethical. You have disgraced not only this district, but your profession. Your comment, "Let the next board deal with it, I'm out of here," shows a blatant disregard for the 6,000 people you were appointed to serve. Public service is not about convenience, and if it became too much for you, the honorable step would have been to resign. Your legacy will be one of saving Hanoi's chickens while citing a resident over a health and safety concern regarding an ant pile. This pattern of making decisions behind closed doors without board approval is deeply troubling. Why did Kelly unilaterally decide that backyard chickens do not impact property values, affecting residents without a formal vote? Why did Director Hanoi instruct the attorney to halt efforts to fix the election mistakes without consulting the board? Why was there almost $8,000 in financial transactions that appears to involve Beth and the bookkeeper that was never brought to the board's attention? These actions are not isolated incidents. They reveal a disturbing trend of disregard for process, transparency, and the community's welfare. Linda Faub has been unjustly accused of acting without board approval, yet no evidence supports these claims. The real issue is her willingness to do the hard work you won't, to challenge corruption and demand accountability. The residents elected this board to serve their best interests, not to shield poor decisions and avoid accountability. It's time for leadership that puts the community first, acts with integrity, and makes decisions in the open. Linda Fobb is the only candidate on the ballot that fits that job description, and that's why she will be elected again. Thank you.
Well written, Linda. Well written.
Wendy Martinez,
She
please.
doesn't know enough to know that stuff.
You, okay.
Well written by her.
Neural, can you
Thanks for
step up,
reading it.
please? Thank you.
Very professional.
You are, because you don't know.
Can we stop right now? Well, no, you need to stop.
Throw her out.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank y'all. I'm Carol Norrell. Yes, I am one of the candidates. I don't have a whole lot to say tonight. I was searching on the agenda. I was looking at the attachments because I wanted, and I do that, and I try my best to read as much as I can, and they're not always easy to find. I'll be honest with you, total board tonight, that as I looked at the attachments, the one I was really looking for was the draft budget. And I don't know if it's been put on at this juncture or not, but anyway, I haven't been, and that's whatever, but I will say it's a disappointment for me, because I do read those, I do look at them, and they help me to understand a little bit. Certainly we talk about the words of transparency. That's kind of and perhaps there's a draft budget way back yonder in some other time, I don't know, but I missed it, so hopefully I'll get to see it and hear about it tonight. It was a little emotional tonight. Wow. I don't want to do that, folks. I really don't want to. I could say some things. David, I think you and I think we've been developing a relationship over the years of time. I've never had an unpleasant conversation with you, and I think that we've had some productive ones. I'll be honest with you, I was disappointed the other night when we were interrupted, and I was accused of something that I did not do. I hope we can get away from that. I hope we can get to looking at what we need to look at. If we're disappointed with any board member up there or any of the candidates who are running, then vote them out or don't vote for me. I mean, make those choices. I'm a fairly intelligent woman still. I'm a hard-working woman. I've got time, Linda, like you. I'm kind of sort of retired, although I've got lots on my life's calendar. But I read a lot, and I dig a lot, and I ask questions. And yes, we are in kind of a conundrum at this moment, a debacle to some degree, and I'm trusting that our attorney is going to work us through that, and we're going to find a way to come to an election that is pleasing to the residents of our community. I said something to you all the last time I was up there about that I would be receptive to the things that you may say to me, ask me. I will do my best to be responsive to you. And I'm speaking to a very large audience, I believe, tonight that's online with us. I hope to be responsive in a good way. My mindset is to work for the residents of this MUD. I've had countless numbers of phone calls about things that perhaps maybe should be being asked to the board. But I hope to conduct myself with responsibility, with integrity in all that I do, even if I may not agree with you, okay? I will not ever, it is my desire that I will not ever do it in an emotional, volatile, hostile kind of way. I appreciate your time tonight, folks. Thank you, and thank you to the folks who are listening tonight. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, Sylvia Lopez.
Well, I wasn't going to speak tonight, but I'm glad I'm here. First of all, Chris and Carol, just for you guys to know, the new president of the board is Illinois, and the person responsible for the park is Beth Jones. Just want you to know that information. So one of the questions I have for Cole is, I heard about the election situation, which is, I'm highly upset of what's transpired, but due to the fact, are the residents going to have an opportunity to have early voting?
Yes, that is the plan.
Okay, perfect. And I guess where I'm struggling is, yes, mistakes do happen. And I did reach out to the election administration, both in Travis and Williamson County, because I wanted to understand how this happened. Mm-hmm. And it's my understanding that quite a few emails were sent to your office, and maybe to your assistant, it's my understanding. especially for Williamson County. And it seems that Travis County's deadline was met, but not Williamson County. And same due date. And I understand there's checks and balances. I work for a law firm and an accounting firm, and we have a huge calendar that basically says, hey, this is a pertinent due date. So I'm holding you accountable for that, but I'm also holding the board accountable because there should be a overall calendar that should have notified you and saying, hey, what about this deadline? We have candidates running this year. Were both counties notified? I don't think any of the board members reached out to you. Is that correct? Did they reach out to you and say, the deadline's coming up, did you meet it?
I would have to go back to my emails to give you a positive answer on that, but I'm not holding the board or anyone else accountable for it.
Well, I'm holding the board accountable because as the residents, these are the officials that we elected. We've got a new president, and honestly, Beth, I have to tell you, I know people, we have similar friends, and they warned me about you. The professionalism that I don't see from you is pretty embarrassing. I mean, you commenting on someone giving a speech, that's not for you to basically attack Linda and attack her. That's not cool at all. I would never do that to you. And the fact that you did tells me that you do not need to be on the board. And I know you're going to be up for re-election, and let's see how far that goes. But I wish that there were a way we could fire board members because honestly, what I have seen these past few meetings, it's embarrassing. And you're the biggest one. Hanoi, yeah, I may disagree with some of the things that he's gotten away with, but he's very professional. You, on the other hand, not so much. But I do hope on this upcoming election that the board and you, Cole, will make every opportunity to inform residents because this is going to be a very difficult election because I hope that it's fair and equal, especially for these two candidates. Because not only are we having to go
Your time
to...
is almost up, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so moving on to agenda item number 2, consent agenda, including approval of minutes of 21st of August 24. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I move we approve the minutes of August 21st.
Do we have a second?
Okay, I'll second that. That's fine.
Okay. Seconded by Beth. Beth, you can start the discussion. Do you have any questions or
I do
comments?
not.
Anything? Yes, Linda?
I don't think we do discussion on the consent agenda, do we?
Well,
Not typically consent.
do you have any
use.
comments or observation? If not, move on to give the opportunity.
There is an unresolved comment out there that's going to need a video check on the minutes.
I don't have internet, so I can't have anything to load, so you'd have to read the comment or I'd have to check it later.
Okay, David? No? All in favor?
Do you want to do approve the minutes subject to confirmation of the comment in the minutes, or are you approving the minutes as is?
That's your motion. Do you want to?
Okay.
I approve them as is.
Okay.
So approve them as is. So we have how many votes?
3.
Okay, 3 votes. Motion passes. Number 3, accountant's report.
Did you vote no?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Karen.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Good evening, board. If you could please look at your accounting report and turn past the cover page, you'll see your summary of funds on page 2.
We don't have one, Kara. We don't have a financial report.
Yes, you do. It's in the Google Drive.
I'm looking at it now. Invoices, APD director signature, and director expense. Do you see it?
I'm having issues with internet. So
I have
cannot-
internet connection, and I'm in the drive, but I don't have the report.
I see the same thing Linda sees. I
No
don't see a
report.
report. Give me 1 second. Let me get it.
If the board would like to move to another agenda item, I can certainly wait.
It's okay, Kara, it'll take me 2 seconds.
Thank you, Mackenzie.
You don't see it.
That's what I see.
Yeah. Is this what you're saying?
It's in there. I see
Yep.
it, yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Kara.
Thank you. So again, if you will please scroll past the cover page, you'll see the summary of funds on page 2. Those interest rates in the technical are ticking down just a little bit. Page 3 is a cash flow for new first checking. We started the month with 100,834. You can see we transferred 300,000 from text pool. I am presenting for your approval tonight checks number 1324 to 1362. I will give the board a moment because I understand that some of you haven't seen my report, so I'll just pause for a moment for you to look at the different checks. We have asked for 2 holding checks tonight, 1361 and 1362, because we received an email asking for a check for election expense that may need to be paid early. We do not know which county will need this. If we don't use these checks, obviously we will void them. That is something that's very out of the ordinary for your district. After your disbursements of $383.06, we left $20,527.80 in this account. If you will see page 4, that is the cash flow for your operator account, beginning balance of $188,354 in pennies, receipts of $69,187, disbursements of a bank fee, sweeps, and a transfer to tax pool for $150,000, total disbursements of $218,952 with a balance of $38,589. Page 5, the cash flow for cadence checking. We started the month with $98.03. You had August receipts of $164,325. Your disbursements show the fees of office that we paid at the last meeting, as well as your security payroll and a little return and a no transfer tax pool of $163,000. Total disbursements $165,835 for a balance in that account of $82,93. Your cadence reservation account is on page 6, beginning balance $10,344. You did have a facility rental for $712.78. There was a little gateway fee and an EPX fee for total disbursements of $108, leaving $10,949 to that account. There were no transactions in your Cadence Bank manager's account, so the beginning and ending balance is $42,200. Your actual versus budget for the month of August, as well as October through August, so 11 months of your current fiscal year, is on pages 8, 9, and 10. lastly, we have a budget for your consideration tonight. We have met with the budget committee, went line by line through every item. This budget reflects the decisions that were made during that committee meeting. And that is on pages 11 and 12 and 13, excuse me. That was a little quick, so I'm open to, I've scrolled back to page 2. I'm open to any questions that the board may have.
Beth, do you have any questions? Kelly, do you have any questions?
No.
I do not have any questions. Linda?
I do have questions, but I really, until I compare the invoices against the financial report that we were just given, I cannot vote for your payments or your financial report. So as far as your agenda item 3A, I will reserve my questions until I've had a chance to look at your work.
David?
I don't necessarily have a question, but it's just kind of a comment. It's a concern of mine that we're getting this report, after the meeting has started. It doesn't allow us to look at it in time. I think it's a little fiscally irresponsible to not have the material ready. And I really would like to know if it's a concern to any one of you directors that the material isn't there in a timely manner. And is there a way to kind of document things like this? That, we asked that it was put in prior to the meeting so we have time to prepare. And if, when we have in any business has employees, something happens, we tend to write people up just to document, to have a record of what has happened in that employee's record. So I was thinking, is there a way that we can document these events that happen so this way the next board that comes has documentation and future boards have documentations on the vendors on what has transpired? Kind of, a write-up. I don't want to call it a write-up, but something documenting, this happened, this happened, this happened. So when it's time to reassess and really look at it, we have this data available to make a decision. Is it time that we rebid, maybe look at something else? I think it's just it would be responsible of us to do that in cold. Well, that's off topic, but that's just something that came to mind, and this is something that I'd like to somehow document that. This month it happened, last month it happened, or so on and so forth, or in the future, so we can kind of say, hey, we have this data. We can do a letter to Artesian or any vendor to say, hey, this is the trend. Can we correct this and move forward and give them an opportunity to fix? So I think that there has to be some type of process to document this and hold them accountable, because we're here to hold them accountable, and because the public's going to hold us accountable, holding them accountable. So I just so that's just something that I would like all of us to consider creating, so there is documentation in the future for future boards to just know their performance.
Just as an FYI, that's partially my fault. We received the report at 3:31. I sent it over to Reese for posting. She put it on your website, and I didn't specify that it needed to go on the website.
It's my fault. I'll accept that. I posted it to the website, like I said, like she said, at 3:31. I assumed that that's where she meant to have it posted instead of the Google Drive. I will accept full responsibility for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so thank you for your comment, David. Let's then move on to payment of billing and invoices. Beth, do you want to go ahead and submit a motion to approve billing and invoices? You and I went over each item, and so if you want to go ahead and do that, ask for the amount so we can move forward and approve the invoices.
Can you give me the total again? I don't have it.
You can ask her to give you the total, but
Kara, can you give them the total for approval again,
it
please?
should be on page 3.
380, 306, 173.
380
306.
And the cents?
73 cents.
Okay, I make a motion that we pay our bills and invoices for the month of August that we have paid, that we can pay for $380,306.73. Can I get a second?
Okay, you have my second on that. And do we have further discussion? Beth?
No, we already went through all this. I'm fine.
Okay. All right, so then all in favor for approving invoices, billing and invoices? Okay. Motion passes.
I'd
Do we
like
have a
to
yes or no?
abstain.
Abstain? Can you state your reason of
I can.
abstention?
For the 7th consecutive month, the bookkeeping service has failed to provide the district's financial information in the board packet before the meeting. As of 3:30 p.m. today, just 3 hours before the meeting, the financial report was still missing. Without adequate time to review their work, errors go unchecked. I refuse to be a rubber stamp for an incompetent bookkeeper.
Okay, David?
I'm going to abstain as well, just because it wasn't available in a timely manner and I wasn't able to double check that.
All right, fair enough. Motion passes to abstention, so move on. Item B, review payments on current not to exceed expenditures. I have a question on the hold checks. Do we need to take any action to hold those checks?
We haven't received an invoice from Travis County yet. Typically, they send those after the election. So, do you have an invoice from Travis County? Or it's just a check that you drafted just to hold?
Yeah, they do not have invoices.
I do not have an invoice yet, we just had a notification.
Okay.
With no invoice.
Yeah, you can scrap that check. Once we get the invoice, we'll forward that to you.
Okay, we are new to Williamson, Travis County. I'm totally fine accepting that 1361 and 1362 will be voided.
Okay.
All right, then. All right, so moving on, should we go ahead and do the adopt the budget?
3B.
3B, sorry, review of payment of current not to exceed expenditures.
Kara, do you know who's doing that? Who's looking at
I'm
that?
sorry, I could not get a comment.
Who's keeping track of the not to exceed project totals?
We are, and that we can see there is no project in excess of its contract.
Okay, we have an answer. Do we have a motion for this item?
There's no action.
No action. All right, so can we move on to item C?
Can I just know who put this on here?
I do not know.
Cole, do
I
you know
didn't
who
do
took?
I thought that was a
I think
standing
it's a standing
item.
item.
Yeah, if y'all want it removed, you can remove it, but I think
Well,
that's
we have not to exceed projects,
Yeah,
so
it's a standing
it
item.
needs to stay.
Okay. Item C, budget, adopt budget for the district for the fiscal year ending 30 September 2025. Do you want to make a motion on this budget, since you and I went over and got the input of all of our contractors in this process?
It needs corrections first before I'll make a motion.
I thought you were in agreement with that.
No, there were items on this budget that Cole needed to look at. An AG opinion, which he did, the cluster boxes, I got the answer today. That needs to be removed. And there's an item that was added to the budget between adoption of the 24 and this one that we're looking at for director fees prior years. It appeared in the budget, in the financial report in April, and it is an amendment to the budget that was not presented or approved by the board. However, this new category and subsequent disbursements against it are over $7,600. There has not been any fees of office requests presented to any board packets since this GL code was created that supports these payments. Now, I've asked about it since April, and I've gotten no answers. It's still in there, but it has no projection for the future. So something's happening with the finances that are not transparent. So that
Okay.
needs an explanation. And then G5711, the meter replacement project, that's been added since we met. And 50,000 has been added to the budget for that. So GL 5341, Cole, if you'd like to tell him the AG opinion on cluster mailboxes.
The Attorney General's opinion for, I think it was a district nearby, or a municipal utility district in the state of Texas. There was a request that was made by the MUD, or on behalf of the MUD, stating, can we use surplus funds to pay?
Listen, we spent almost 2 hours
Sure.
going over this budget. She was in agreement, and I haven't heard anything about this budget, any kind of opposition, and we need to approve the budget. We can amend later, so therefore I move that we approve the current budget. Do I have a second? To approve the current budget as is, and then we can amend later, but we need to have a budget and get it posted, so the public knows what we're doing. If not, we can move on.
I have a question, Cole. Are we under a statutory deadline to adopt the budget?
Typically, you have to adopt your budget by the end of the fiscal year.
Which is coming up.
End of September.
Yeah. So, and you can amend the budget at any time. So, board decision.
We can always amend. We need to have this adopted. We were in agreement when we left this meeting. Every contractor was part of this meeting. We need to get this adopted, get it published, and we can always come back and re-amend and have the discussion later.
And then it'll be public for everyone to view, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it is now. It's in the financial packet, so everybody can see this.
So do I have a second? Go ahead.
I do have a change. I know I was on the meeting and in agreement as I was finishing the facility assessment and capital improvement plan, yada, yada, yada. One of the project's cost crept up, and that is G5710, the cleaning and televising of the sewer system. I tried to find the cost of it, it was done in 2020 in various files, couldn't find it. So I went out and got bid tabs for comparable projects and used that to come up with what I think the cost will be to televise the entire district. And that cost in the 2025 budget should be $335,368, which is an increase of $150,368. And it changes your net income from $431,227 to $280,855. Now, I will caveat and say that that project will have to be publicly bid, so you can come in less or whatever, but I just wanted that to be in your budget based on, so that it matches the CIP.
We can add it to the amended things you're gonna have to do next month.
Yep, let's do that. So I think we can agree to approve a budget, right? So that we don't miss the deadline, get it published. And then we can come back, have maybe another budget meeting fairly soon so that we can fix these items. And then re-adopt or whatever needs to be done.
Amend.
Or amend, right? Yeah. Shall we, or?
I second your
You
motion.
second the motion, okay. Do we need further discussion on this, or we're good?
Yes, we do.
Well, give me a second. Beth, do you have any input on this? We're going around like that.
I do not. I've looked at the budget. I think it's fine that next month we can go back and redo it again. I'd like to get it done so that we can get it out. Yes.
Kelly?
Yeah, just to, stay within our deadlines and, with the intent of amending later, we have to publish it.
Okay, I don't have any comments. Linda?
All these things were brought up in the budget meeting and not one of them was cured. So I won't approve a budget with known errors in it like this, where there's been over a week, almost 2 weeks to correct, and nobody's bothered to correct.
You
So
did not express any.
I did. It's
any
written
concern
right
during
on the
meeting.
report.
Okay, but you're on the budget.
Exactly.
All right, so I think we're going to have David go.
That's fine, I'm done.
Yeah, you're done. So go ahead.
Well, just first and foremost, I didn't have access to this proposed budget until 7:04 PM tonight. Mackenzie just put it in.
You have it in the bookkeeper's report too. It's in the back of it. So
And the bookkeeper's report was given to us at 6:51 PM. So there was not enough time to look over. I didn't have access to it.
Do you reach out to the accountant to ask for the budget, proposed budget?
I did not.
Okay.
But shouldn't it, is my opinion that this material should have been presented to the whole board prior to this meeting.
And again, this can be amended,
Hold on.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I believe that the purpose of having this budget ready is to present to the public, and this is our plan for the year, to present to the public to say this is what we're going to spend. Now, to me, it just sounds like rubber stamping, that let's just get it done, let's just post it, let's just get it finished, and then we can go ahead and amend it. So at any point in time, yeah, but is it truly transparent to the people on what we're going to spend our money on? I honestly feel that it's not. If it's not ready, why rubber stamp and say let's just get it done? Where it's our responsibility to have it ready, approve it when it's ready. But if it's not ready today, then we may have to meet again and approve it when it's ready. To me, it's just not transparent to the public that, these are our numbers. They're really just lies. We're going to change them anyways, however we see fit later on. So it just, yeah, I don't like it. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't smell right. Thank you.
All right, all in favor? Motion passes. Do you abstain?
I abstain.
Okay, state your
Pull.
reason.
I am not voting on a budget that has not been corrected per the meeting that we had with the bookkeeper.
Thank you. David, can you state your reason for abstention?
I didn't abstain. I'll just
You
vote
said no. Okay. Moving on to item D. Status of unclaimed funds. Do we have anything on that?
Karen, do you have an update on any of the unclaimed funds?
It is still in process. We are still working on it.
Kara, where does the information you're waiting on come from?
Boxes that have the historic data in them.
Paper?
Paper, yes.
And your office is going through all that paper?
We are in the process. We are not nearly done.
Beth, any questions?
Do you have a time date that you might be able to give us? I know it's a lot to go through, so I'm not saying that it needs to be done like right away, but how close do you think, do you have a date that you could possibly give us?
I have 60 days to get your audit to your auditor, and that is my priority. I would request 90 days.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a deadline for this, Cole?
Typically, the unclaimed funds is reported in June, I think. But in terms of if there's issues like this with boxes or anything like, if the question is, are we going to get dinged or anything like that? No, I don't think so, because of what's going on with searching through old files with the transition of a bookkeeper. But typically, I think unclaimed funds are reported in the end of June. I think.
So this is something that we do every year.
Every year.
So technically, we should only have to go through 1 year worth of data because they should have been done last year, and we just have to go through unclaimed funds for this fiscal year. Is that?
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
Okay.
Because most of the time, you get your bookkeeper and your operator, when this time rolls around, you get a letter stating, or sometimes the operator has, but the bookkeeper always will send a letter typically stating there are no unclaimed funds, and we just put it in the file, and that's how that works.
Okay, great. Okay, we need to get moving. Time it's subject to, you've already had a chance to talk. So you're on, go ahead and with the engineer report.
You can ask under open records.
Yeah, you can do an open record request or call the
It
accountant.
just costs money, right?
Okay,
to
go
do
ahead.
open records. You know, we should be able to ask questions about information we need to.
Can you start your report?
I sure can.
Thank you.
First, I'll apologize for getting my report to y'all very late, as well as getting the facility assessment to y'all very late. That is not my intention, and I do intend to correct that. The first item being the facility assessment. Westwood has finalized that facility assessment, asset management, and CIP. I recognize that you have not had adequate time to review it, even though there's been a couple drafts there. We did make some substantial changes. We tried to add some additional language and clarifications so that the tables and information made a little bit more sense, or at least that was my intent. So I would welcome the board to review that in a little bit further detail. The recommended projects are the same. Some of the numbers were refined as we continue to do our cost estimating. The recommended projects are the same. So I would really appreciate some feedback. I don't think that you guys need to accept this as final today, this meeting. I think you need time to look at it, and I would also like to spend time with the final documents with the infrastructure committee and Infomart, who hasn't really had a good chance to look at that over the course of our production of the document. So I'm happy to go through that page by page if you'd like, but I know time's of the essence. And so all of you are welcome to send me comments, emails, phone calls, whatever questions you might have as you go through it, and I'd be happy to explain how we put certain things together.
It's a pretty long report, so do you want to start with questions or comments, or should we defer this to some other time where we can have this go through committee?
I hate to do that to you, but I have not had time to go through it all. It came out so late. It came out late. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah.
Again, not asking for any action, just
Can we defer it to the next meeting?
Do you have any
I'm in favor of that.
in favor of that? We're all good deferring it to the next meeting? Okay. We will do
You don't have
that.
any ongoing projects right now, correct? I mean, nothing that is that would require board action tonight?
No.
Or a decision or anything? Okay.
no, not on the facilities.
Okay.
Okay. The next item is the status of your lead and copper roll revision service line inventory. So we finished that work. We have the service line inventory ready to submit to the TCEQ. We went back and looked at some of the, Linda had a couple of comments, I think at last month's board meeting. We went back and validated some of the ages of the subdivisions. The ages, the years that the infrastructure was put in place was different than some of the years of the homes. We sat through a recent TCQ webinar, and that was a particular topic that was discussed, and that even if the home was installed in, let's say, 1990, but the plans for the subdivision said 1987, you needed to treat it as unknown because that service line might have already been put in the ground before the home was built. So a lot of what we have kind of flagged as unknown is for that reason. So attached to the report, there's a map that kind of shows you the parts of the neighborhood that are flagged as unknown service line material. That doesn't mean that there's lead or galvanized piping. It just means that we don't know based on the records that we have, which is totally acceptable to be submitted to the TCEQ. So we have that service line inventory in the format that they want us to submit. The deadline to submit is October 16th. You can submit at any time. Once we submit, we have a 30-day window that we need to send a letter to all affected residents. I think that's about 871 residents that make up those 6 sections of HTML West. There is a template of that letter attached to this report. Now, mind you, that template came from the EPA, which is why it reads so terribly, but there are some required language in there. And so I think the board, infrastructure committee, Infomart, poll, collectively, we need to talk about what that letter needs to say and how we want residents who are going to get that letter delivered to them. That's going to say, we don't know the service line material, it could be lead. I assume residents will call. They should call. I hope they call. Who do we want them to call? Do we want it to be from our local office here? Do you want it to be Westwood? It's entirely up to you guys, but there's highlighted sections of that template letter that if I can get feedback on, we can get that sent out, again, you have 30 days from when I file it with the TCEQ. So I can wait until October 15th, which will give us until November 15th to send these letters out. But I prefer not to back into the deadline of October 16th. So, I'll stop talking and see if you have questions.
Beth, have any questions?
I'm just, in my head, right off the bat, I'm thinking, how are we going to get that done by October 16th? So,
He has to submit.
It's done.
It's done, he just has to
It's done.
send it.
I just have to send one.
He hit send.
By October 16th.
okay.
So-
So we're going to approve it and then, okay.
So, well, with that being said, the following step is to send the letter to the affected residences, which I have all the addresses, that's all that's in the deliverable that I have to submit to the TCQ. So, getting those letters together shouldn't be a terrible endeavor.
Are you going to send the letters?
I prefer not to.
Who's doing that?
Yeah, so I think we need to take action on sending his report to TCEQ. And we need to decide who's going to mail it out.
And what it said?
And, well, yeah, that's something that we need. I think that we, like he stated, call Infomark Infrastructure Committee can kind of get together, if that's okay with the rest of the board, or we all, I know we try to keep the meeting short, so I think that would take up a lot of time in this meeting to discuss it. So that if the Infrastructure Committee met with everybody that is involved, would save us a lot of time here, and then we'll present it to the board for approval to send out.
And you've had the chance to, you haven't, I'm assuming.
No, I mean, I have not reviewed his
Yeah, yeah.
stuff. I mean, my work really is on the side of ensuring that his inventory list gets submitted to the EPA and the state regulatory agencies. That's kind of really what is my concern. I'm not going to be digging through his work and double checking anything now.
Mackenzie, have you sent out any letters already to other residents in other districts?
No, we haven't yet, no. A lot of our districts are in the same stage as y'all are closing this month.
I'd like to make a comment.
Sure.
The template letter that you put in your packet, I did make comments on it. The letter itself is fine. It's the contact information when it's going to create panic and chaos. That many residents getting a letter, there might be lead in your water, and it affects your children. That's going to come with a real hard sting. I'd rather they not get it before the holidays, but prior to the holidays. Why ruin everybody's holiday with a letter like this? If you send the letter in November, it's Thanksgiving.
Right.
So the template's fine, but he needs to know who are the residents going to call. Are they going to call the 1-800 number at the Houston Call Center? Are they going to call this office in here where we have a dedicated support person that's supposed to be exclusively dedicated to responding to our residents? The template letter says go to the Infomark.com website. There's no instructions on what to do once they get there. I went there today. I found nothing lead and copper. So I was
Just for full disclosure, I downloaded the Word file template.
and filled that in.
Maggie just filled in what she
Again.
did, and I was like, we just need to highlight it,
Yeah.
because none of this is really.
And it is
right.
all highlighted in there. But we need to decide how these people that have questions and concerns, and how do I test my water? Who's going to come test my water? Who's paying for that? All that stuff needs to be addressed in the letter.
Now, I will say, that first page is like instructions from the EPA, and it says something's like italicized, it's required. We could stick with just the required language, which takes out a lot of the questionable content, which might be more advantageous, right? But again, that's entirely up to you all.
Here's what I propose, that you and I are infrastructure committee, so it's early in the month, first week, right?
Yep.
We have a meeting, it's already set, so let's go ahead and maybe focus our agenda towards an action plan, and if you can write him a list of
Already
questions. You already did?
It's in the board packet.
Okay, great, okay, so
I was up when she sent the comments, so I was impressed.
Okay.
I don't understand how y'all were up at that time.
It wasn't a choice.
Yeah, you woke me up before 1 a.m. I saw your
Me?
email coming, yes. So anyhow,
It was 2:30 in the morning when I was.
oh, here we go, you were up earlier. So can we agree to, so that we can move forward and have an action plan, and Mackenzie, if we can be part of that meeting, that'd be great, and then we can bring that up over to the board and just make a decision on that.
So you're gonna finalize a letter that we can use?
So what I'll do is I'll submit the inventory like on October 11th or 14th, so it's still in advance of the deadline. But that way it kind of pushes that 30 days part out for the logistics of sending the letter out. We'll have the finalized letter after the infrastructure committee meeting to present to the board for final input. And at the 16th meeting, we'll reach a resolution about what the letter says, and we'll proceed with getting it mailed off by the deadline.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, thank you all very much.
All right.
Can I just get board approval to submit the service line inventory to the TCEQ?
Sure.
Do you need a motion?
David?
I move to submit the inventory to TCEQ for the lead and copper
I'll second that.
On what date? October?
on October 11th
Well, sure.
at 8:05 a.m.
Yep.
No, I'm just kidding on that.
That
I
way
wasn't gonna put
we
that
can
in.
keep track of those, the days that
Yeah.
tick by.
That's right.
All right, so we have a motion, second. We don't need any further discussion, right? All right, all in favor? Okay, moving on to D.
The CMU wall letter.
Who seconded?
No.
I seconded, yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, C, right? The capital,
So, item C and item A are the same. We lumped all that together in one document, since they're all tied together. Item D is the CMU wall letter. This was a topic that was discussed at the infrastructure committee. We drafted a letter. Basically, it's kindly requesting that residents trim their own trees around the walls so that you don't have to do it. And that you can basically, if you have to do it, you can trim trees however the heck you want, which is probably not in your best interest. Linda submitted to me some comments on that letter, and I think a lot of them are valid. There probably needs to be a little bit more language as to giving people a timeline to take action. And I forget a couple other ones were, but I can pull them up. So I really don't have a preference when you guys send this letter, or if you send this letter. This was just a topic that came up at the infrastructure committee meeting. So if you want to tweak it a little bit more, we can totally do that. But we did go through and look at the map and walk the district. So we have a list of all of the residences that are impacted by any of the CMU walls that would get said letter. I want to say it's 228 residences. And in the engineering folder on the board meeting, there's those files in case y'all are so inclined to review.
cool, and I know that letter was sent to you. Have you had a chance to review it from a legal line perspective?
I need to, I'll review it. I saw Linda's comments, I figured it was a draft form, so I wasn't really gonna jump into it until everybody had it close to final.
Okay, so should we also add and take a look at the final with Linda's comment on our infrastructure?
Your comment was about the deadline, so with CMU
Well,
wall cleaning for next year.
It depends what your purpose is. Are you just wanting people to trim the limbs to keep the structure of the wall? Or are you wanting to
That
trim the
was-
limbs so that it can be cleaned?
The intent was to not have another incident like we had earlier this
Where the
couple
wall
months ago,
crumbles?
right, and have that affect our wall and destroy the wall.
So it's structural.
So it's structural, it wasn't for cleaning.
For cleaning.
Correct.
So then you need to give them some kind of deadline and then go back and do who doesn't ever do the letter instruction, you'll have to take care of it yourself. So they need to know when the district is gonna come by and trim those branches off the wall. In the letter.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll discuss
You
that.
gonna defer till
Yeah.
the
So
next month?
it's not a pressing issue, there's no really timeline on it, we just want to get that information out there.
And if there is a hope, because it's in the budget, of power washing the walls, which need to be done, it might be good to put that in there as an incentive for them to want to trim those branches off, because we'll clean the walls when that's done. Everybody wins with that.
Right.
So on the topic of cleaning and pressure washing, Maggie did reach out to that company that you sent that reference to. He sent us a proposal, we used that information to put the numbers for the pressure washing in the CIP. What we were thinking, again, entirely up to y'all, was split the total amount of walls into 20%, do 20% each every 2 years, such that every part of the wall is touched once every 2 years. That frequency can be modified, but it was just Lisa.
What was the cost?
It was like 28 and some change, I would want to say.
For all of it, or for two?
For all of it. Now, please note that there's some caveats there. He kind of gave a range. He's like, do you want it to be a light brush clean? Do you want it to be a multi-sweep clean? Do you want to use chemicals to get rid of mold? And so all of those kind of swing the prices one way or the other. And obviously you wouldn't pick one and apply it to the whole district. There's some areas that have mold and some that don't, some that are not as. So we kind of took an average and applied it. Again, I think that's even more reason why you should just split sections each year, pick what that section is, go look at it, and help determine what that scope is. And some years it might be 12 grand, some years it might be 8 because that area is not 30. So that was kind of our approach from a financial planning perspective to spread it out.
All right,
Good to know, thank you.
thanks. Can we move on to the general manager's report?
I just have one question. Do you have any updates on El Solito by the tree that the kids are going to school where that big hump is?
Nope.
No, it's the sidewalk. Yeah, it needs to be redone.
So FYI, we did report that at our committee meeting, so he has record. Yeah.
You got the picture from one. Do y'all want me to do something about that?
It,
Doesn't work.
Yeah, call Williamson County, have them come fix their sidewalk. Can you do that?
It's our sidewalk.
Actually, it belongs to Williamson County.
I think it's in the public driveway.
It belongs to Williamson County. See if they'll do
I'll
it.
double check ownership, just to be sure, and then I'll call them again.
I was going to say Gray Engineering has always done it in the past. So.
All right, moving on. General manager's report.
All right, if y'all want to scroll to page 10 of my portion of the packet for the executive summary starts. As far as streetlights go this month, the survey was conducted on the 13th of August. All lights were reported working correctly. However, we did have one located at 1100 Hunter's Creek that PEC actually reached out to us about. The streetlight mysteriously went missing, so we thought it was hit by a car. PEC dug a little deeper and found out through the city of Cedar Park that it was not struck, that it was just deteriorated at the bottom, and Cedar Park came and chopped it up, took it away. So we've reached out to 2 contractors to get some quotes for a replacement light to go in. Water accountability has been reported down below. I believe we were at 96% this month. Oh, sorry, 93% this month, 96% last month. And then for delinquent letters, we had 152 mailed letters, 106 tags hung, 14 disconnects made. We have no notable customer requests this month. Endpoint installations have been completed, and we did get some costs over to Jacob for the infrastructure committee today. I got it from Badger as far as what we could get within that $50,000 meter budget, and that is 125 meters and 125 endpoints. So that is that cost factor that we'll talk about in infrastructure committee. For Anderson Mill Pond, we received a quote from Park Pro Tech to replace the disc golf mats out there. There's a total of 5. And if you scroll further down in the packet to page 19, you'll see we have a quote in the amount of $3,180, and that covers the purchase of the mats as well as the freight. And then they've proposed an additional amount of $1,300 for labor to excavate, remove the old ones and install new ones. I'm not sure if anyone's been over there lately, but a lot of the mats are deteriorating, missing pieces. They've been needing to be replaced for some time. Reese has actually been actively working with Dustin for about 2 months now to get this quote put together. So that's an item for the board to consider for approval. The slide footing at Anderson Mill West Park was supposed to be completed on Monday, however, it was completed today. Dustin did send us some pictures. The fencing has been removed and it's ready for play. Those pictures are included down below in the packet as well. The gate for the tennis courts over at Anderson Mill West started acting up, and we had Clint from Oracle come out and take a look to order the parts and labor for board approval. The total amount for this is $3,204, and it's the wireless bridge has gone bad, which is one of the main components that controls access. And in their quote, they've detailed out some more information on what all that will include, but that's also provided further down below Dustin's quote. I can move on if y'all like me to for the next two, but if y'all want to go and entertain approvals first, then I can move on if you'd like. Because I don't have any other approvals after this.
Parks Committee, you want to?
So first one will be approval for Park Pro Tech in the full amount of $4,480 for labor, installation, and ordering of the mats and freight for those.
And that's 5 minutes, you said, right?
Yes, it's all 5 mats.
And we only have 5 stations?
I believe so. It's just
It's
within
9
the
homes,
park.
right?
It's just within
And
the
there's
pond.
double?
Correct. That's why if you look on the quote, he's got it to where the mats are split in half.
I did talk to him today. They are, he said that they're really thick mats. They're about 2 inches, I think he said, real heavy. So his plan was to dig out the decomposed granite, because they are thick, to kind of set them in so they're flush and then refill it in with decomposed granite. So it does sound like it's quite a bit of work to do all that, and for the labor amount that he's charging, kind of seems kind of fair. And, you know, they are deteriorated and weathered away, so I move to approve Park Pro Tech to, for the amount of $4,480 to replace the disc golf mats.
I second that.
We have a second. All right, do we need any further discussion on this? Beth?
No.
Linda? We're good?
I just would comment, anything that humans make require maintenance. So, would we like to save money? Absolutely, but I think safety is a big concern with those mats. Don't want anybody to slip and fall and hurt themselves. And it's just trying to maintain what we have.
All right, all in favor?
Next item is to repair the tennis courts wireless bridge reader for the access to continue to work in the amount of $3,204.
Have a motion on that one?
I move we approve the proposal for $3,204 to replace the reader at the tennis courts.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that, to get some discussion.
Beth, any comments on that or questions?
No, it needs to be replaced.
Linda?
This is in Anderson Mill West, right? Park, the Anderson Mill West Park. That whole gate system, key card reader thing was vandalized not too many months ago, and the whole thing was replaced.
This is not on the tennis courts. This is within the little box that controls where the Wi-Fi is and all of that.
Okay.
This isn't the,
It's not
this is
the mechanism
basically-
on the gate.
No, this is
Okay.
the connector that tells that gate to work, and it tells the restrooms to work with the portion of it that controls the tennis courts is what's not working right now.
All right, all in favor?
Do
You have a comment?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, go ahead.
So I would really like to get numbers on what this system has cost us in the last 2-3 years. If we get those numbers together to see how expensive it's been to replace and fix, and I'm a true believer that our residents have paid for these courts with their taxes, and I would like to see them open to everybody. I'm okay with, I want to see people use these courts, and I'm okay with fixing these courts if there's usage out of them. I don't like fixing things that nobody uses. Right now, the tennis courts really don't get as much use as I'd like to see them. I understand that if they're open to at all times, kids can go in there with their bikes and rollerblades and whatever it is, but I want to see that space used. So I would like to see what the numbers look like on repairs for the Oracle system, and kind of table this to see if it makes financial sense, and kind of bring, kind of meet with the Parks Committee so we can kind of discuss further, and, yeah, so I'd like to table it.
We'll go ahead and move to a vote. You submitted the motion, you seconded it, David, or who seconded it?
I seconded
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So all in favor? And are you?
I'm gonna say no,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I would like to get numbers on it, and so.
What I'll do there is I can give you a log history for both tennis courts, and it'll show you every swipe that's ever gone in, and it'll show you the usage, and we'll get Clint to provide a year's worth of their invoices.
Well, it was 3 yes?
4 years.
4 yes.
4 yes.
Yes.
Wait, who was a no?
I was a
But
no.
you seconded the
Second
motion.
I know, I've seconded it because I wanted to get discussion, but
Okay.
I know, it doesn't make sense, but who else was gonna second it?
I'll second the motion.
You want to
Yeah, I'll
replace the
second.
second? Okay.
Yeah, replace the second with me, and yeah, 4 votes, all in favor.
That's not necessary.
No, but if you want to do that, I don't mind.
It's just, go ahead and,
Sure.
because he's basically voting no, so why would you second and then no? So
To open
I'll
the
second.
floor for discussion.
Yeah, I get it, so we'll go ahead and record that. So go ahead and move on.
Okay, next up is your 2024-2025 liability and property operations coverage schedules. Contributions amount for your district insurance has been included. It's included at the very bottom of my packet, but if you go over to your new business folder, under agenda item 8, it is also included there. It is the last 2 documents, the LB renewal and the PR renewal. Linda, I've gone in and answered most of your questions, 2 of which I think I would need to get with TML on, and I think the one that you were talking to Cole on, we can confirm. But this is your rates for the year. There is a slight increase, and like I had said, we budgeted for even more of an increase because we do plan to go up on those valuations that we discussed for the other lift stations. So this is just to start off with the year. There will likely be additional bump ups throughout the year for coverage.
Does this renewal include Jacob's recommendation on the slow increasing insurance coverage on the lift stations?
That's what I just said. It does not include
It
that
does
yet.
not.
We have not added a new valuation. It does include the increase that y'all did last year for Hatch, but it does not include the 2 new ones.
Can we get it included?
We can.
Can we see what that looks like with it included?
We can.
And then we don't have to
Do you
touch it
wanna
again
do-
for a year?
The first suggestion, which was what, 25%, and then we go the other? She'll pull up what you suggested, or can you pull it up?
I can find it.
Okay, if you'll send me what, because you had staged it in 2 phases.
Yeah.
I need to know what the first one is. Yes, we can do that.
Let's get moving. We have an hour left.
Okay. Last up on my agenda items was an update on the deposits. So we have located a total of 77 deposits on account within all of your accounts that are currently active that do have 0 deposit on file. However, upon initial review and going through quite a lot of them, several of them are accounts that were opened in the 80s and the 90s when your district started. So we're going to have to go back and locate rate orders for all 77 accounts and where they applied for when their account started to determine what they should have on file. Now, from the 80s and the 90s, I'm not sure if there was a deposit. You also used to have a clause in your rate order that said if you went for X amount of months of good payment history, you could get your deposit back. And that is something that I know was exercised many, many, many years ago. So we're going to have to go back and verify these one by one. Hope to have an update at the October meeting. And if there are any accounts that should have a deposit on file that don't, Infomark will happily add one and credit back to the district so that we don't hinder your financials or any of the residents. But as of right now, the first several we pulled were all extremely old. So we're going to have to go through them line by line. That's the only update I have for that.
Mackenzie, is there any additional cost for that information for you to go through all that?
No, we're going to go through the 77 we have on file. The only additional cost y'all might see is if I have to ask Cole to pull any of those old records that I don't have from the 80s and 90s as far as rate orders go. We might need some of that, but outside of that, no.
Excellent. Can we agree to move item number 9 so we're done with your attorney report up, and then get your report done, and then we can
Are you
do
going
final?
to stop her? Is she done?
She's done, yeah.
That was my last
Oh, okay.
update.
Yeah.
Treasurer report would be great.
Go on. Are we in agreement
No
with that?
objection.
Just get no
Absolutely.
objection? Okay, go on.
Annexation from Anderson Mill Road. Justin updated the exhibit that we discussed. Is that what we're talking about right now?
You were in your folder. I don't see it in your folder, but.
No, this was probably in a meeting folder from, I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago, whenever this first came up. It's the same agreement that was amended a couple months ago. Jacob went through and updated the inventory list, which is kind of the list that you all state, we own this, we're maintaining this, or we're not maintaining this. So he went through to cross out some of the grass, trees, light poles, stuff like that you all do not have any responsibility to maintain. I'm sending that over to the county. We've also asked the county to...
The county or city?
City.
City, yes, city, sorry. Also asked the city to, let me pull up the email, to specify, there was a section, I don't remember who asked it, I'm on an email with Jacob about this and Linda, and it mentioned, or Jacob made a point about some clarity in the agreement regarding debris removal, not necessarily, debris is in trash, someone litters, and so I've asked the city to clarify that, if it's trash that's thrown, on an area that's still within the district, the district will make its reasonable efforts. If there's someone out driving around, we'll pick it up. But if it's in the median and it's owned by the city, the district has no responsibility to go through and do any of that debris removal or trash pickup in that area. So I haven't heard back from her, from the city attorney yet about that. And that's really where we stand. We got the updated inventory list. I'm going to forward that onto the city, and then we should get that agreement finalized. And once I do, I'll email it to the full board so you all have it in time for the next meeting. I know that the city is going to be discussing the annexation at their meeting, I believe, next week. So they're just kind of wanting to see what the status is of this agreement. So that's all I have with that. Badger meter, got an email from McKinsey.
I put it in the packet, it's in my folder for you
Okay.
guys to look at.
Haven't had an opportunity to look at it, but they've gone through and done their complete true-up of all of everything that the overcharge that they've been charging the district. I'm aware that you all haven't paid anything, so it's kind of saying overcharge is a little misleading, but they requested an amount that was higher than what you all should have been paying. They've finalized it. They've suggested 3 different solutions in their email. Is it in the general manager's report?
It is, you go under there, to sum it up, your correct total bill amount is $8,121.95 is what you actually owe, versus the $27,375, which is what the invoices you received reflect. So they've given 3 options, as far as how y'all would like to proceed with the credit process. Given that there were a couple of different things here, I figured y'all and maybe the bookkeeper might want to have a weigh-in on this, so if y'all want, I don't see an issue postponing it. If we want to punt this over to the bookkeeping committee to work with the bookkeeper to determine what they feel like would be the best plan, come back to the board, make a recommendation next month, and then we can update Badger if y'all like. Considering we got this today.
Yeah, the easiest, in my mind, which is a board decision, but the easiest would just be their suggested Plan B, where they just issue a full credit of the $27,000 that they say you owe. That voids all the invoices. Then they just reissue an invoice to you all in the amount of $8,121.25.
One thing they did say in their letter is they do want payment for August, and it's like $542. They want that payment now. Well, we figure out how the credit should go, but I'm with you. Plan B is the only way to go. It's
seems the
clean,
cleanest.
seamless. That's
Yeah.
the way to do it. But we do need to get the bookkeeper to cut a check for them this month.
You
for
have
the
a holding check.
We've already voided the checks.
Okay, well, did you write more on them?
Yeah. If she could cut a check to Badger for, confirm the amount, I think it's $542
They were already written.
For the
They're already
amounts.
written, but
for the payment.
Kara on the line still.
I believe so. Yes, Kara's still.
Yes, I am.
Kara, are you hearing this? Could you cut one more check to Badger Meter for, McKinsey confirm the amount, $542 for the month of August payment for 610 endpoints at 89 cents a piece. Do we need a motion for that?
Yes, it's $542.90.
Yes, please.
Kara.
Would you like me to make that?
yeah,
one?
go ahead and make the
90.
motion.
Yes,
Yes, ready?
Yeah, go.
Okay.
yes, that would be the next concession executive check after those 2 voided checks. And I will get with Mackenzie, and we will get that FedEx. And then, Mackenzie, can you take care of those signatures, please?
Yes, ma'am.
I move that
Thank you.
the bookkeeper cut a check to Badger Meter in the amount of $542 to pay for the,
90 cents.
and 90 cents to pay for the 610 endpoints for the month of August.
All right, I'll second that. Any further discussion or observations? No? All in favor? All right. I want to go on to the next item.
You want to go back up, or are you gonna?
It's cold in.
Yes.
That's all that's on the report. I do want to talk about the election and everything like that. We could do it now, or if you want to try to knock out some more of the agenda, we can
Let's
do
do
that.
it
Leave
while
up
you're already talking.
to you all. That's up to you all.
Do we want to do that? Talk about the election, or should we
I
just
think
go
it's
back to the regular?
Yeah, just in case we run out of time.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Are there any other action items that are absolutely necessary tonight on the agenda?
No, so we're done with the report. Let's do the election, and then we'll go back in the regular order.
Okay.
Whatever. Yeah.
So where we stand right now is we are, I've heard comments from residents and from the directors, so we're working through those, we're addressing them, we're doing everything we can to find a reasonable solution to this problem. I've been in talks with Williamson County attorney. He's outside counsel for Williamson County. He has recommended that, and there's a few other instances in which school districts or areas in rural counties have experienced similar things where they've missed a deadline and they've had to figure out a solution. So the solution that he, as the attorney for Williamson County, suggested with Williamson County's approval is to do mail-in ballots for just the Williamson County side, just the Williamson County residents. So that means that every single Williamson County resident will get notice of the election. Everyone is aware of the election because the notice is on the website. We've been discussing it, it's out there. But this is a way to ensure that every person in Williamson County has, even if they decide we're not going to vote whatsoever, that ballot goes to their house, so they have the option to fill it out and send it back in. So that was one solution he had, and that was his recommendation and Williamson County's recommendation. Of course, last week we also discussed having, and the plan still is, assuming everyone's on board with it, is to still have the election held in district here at the clubhouse. And so we'll have poll workers where Mackenzie's Infomark is working with outside contractors to see if they can have anyone available to be poll workers who will monitor and be in here to do that. I'll come up here as much as I possibly can to sit in, and I can work and make sure everything's going swimmingly, but we'll have poll workers to be able to up here do that. That'll be a paper ballot box for people to do. We also have an ADA compliant voting machine, which is like an electronic voting machine for those who are unable to write out a ballot. So we would have that machine here as well for people. The ballots are going to be the exact same ballots that were produced in Travis County, so the ballots will look the same, except you won't have, of course, the general election in Travis. But the measure, the order of the directors, everything like that is going to be the exact same as before. And with the voting location here in Williamson County, not only do you have the mail-in ballots, but you also keep the same hours as early voting and election day voting in Williamson here. That is, in my conversations with the Secretary of State, Williamson County and Travis County, that was kind of the suggested path since we are past the deadline to get on the Williamson County ballot. And so that's where we stand. So nothing is on the agenda because everything has been moving so quickly. And again, I'll apologize for the situation that the district is in. And so in the packets, you'll see that there's kind of this is a rough draft of a notice letter that gives the voting locations and explains that we can make this even more clear, more bold. The idea is we want to put this on the district's website, put a comment on the water bill stating, please visit the district's website for updates or for any information regarding the upcoming director's election. And then we can mail these out to all residents within the district. That wouldn't be a district expense, we'll cover that mail out. And so these are all ways that we've been brainstorming to be able to provide as much notice as possible to all the residents within the district about the election. I'll stop and see if anyone has any questions. I'm sure there are some.
I have a question.
Sure.
Beth, let's start with
Go
Matthew. Go ahead. You have a question?
Do I have a question? No, I'm not comfortable with the mail-in ballot, but I think having it here with everything that you can have here, I think that's fantastic. And have volunteers from what I'm understanding from outside the district.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've contacted a company, it's called
Make it there.
A-List Staffing, they are local to Austin. I provided them exactly what you provided me as far as days, times, and the link to get certified as a poll worker. So they're working on staffing it. The only Infomart personnel that would be here would simply be to man the building, to make sure it's locked up appropriately, open appropriately when needed on any days that it doesn't fall within working hours. So that's the only involvement that Infomart employees would have.
But it would still be the same, 7 to 7, right?
Correct. It's the poll hours of the schedule.
Okay.
And then this just matches Williamson County
Yeah.
schedule. We also would like to, I'm asking the board, if anyone knows of any residents within Williamson County who reside within the district, obviously, who are not related to any of the candidates who are running, who would be willing to be hired to come in and also volunteer for a pay to serve as an election judge, which is kind of also, it's someone who also sits in and reviews the process and makes sure that there's no funny business happening with people.
It might be better to have people outside the district to do that?
For the election judge, you need to have someone within the county preferably.
Okay.
So for the county of which the election is being held, yeah. So if you wouldn't mind brainstorming, we can do that. I'm sure there's an exception to that if necessary, but would be my recommendation, or would be my request for you all.
Is there certain training for that?
Yeah, it's the same. It's on the Secretary of State's website. Yeah, I'll pull
Is
it.
it similar? Because A-List can probably staff that as well with one of their supervisors.
I'll pull it and email you tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Kelly, I don't know if Kelly has a question, so we're
No.
going this.
Sorry.
I do have a question. So in any regular election, right, people can call in and order their ballots to be mailed in. So what would be the situations that, are we mailing the ballots, or how's that process going to be? Are we doing across the board mailing of the ballot? Is that what the recommendation was by the county?
For Williamson County, the option is they would send mail-in ballots to all Williamson County only residents within the district. That way, the county feels comfortable ensuring that all voters eligible to vote in the election residing in Williamson County are receiving ballots.
Not upon request, but everybody will be
Correct.
receive a mailing ballot. Okay.
So is it one or the other, or is it both?
It's both. I mean,
So-
you obviously can't vote twice,
Right.
but it's a way to cover all the bases.
Yeah.
And so it would be a way for, if someone were to say, I didn't know I needed to go here to vote, you would say, well, in your mail, you received a mail-in ballot, you received a ballot mail, and vice versa. Whatever the vice versa would be. I can't remember.
So when I called the Secretary of State's office, I learned that Williamson County is mailing their first batch of mail-out ballots on Friday.
Yes.
Will the people receiving those ballots that go in the mail on Friday have a secondary ballot in there to vote for a director?
Not within that mail-out package, but it will go to them, yes. If it would be in a separate envelope.
So they would get 2 ballots in the mail?
Correct. Anyone who's eligible to vote in the director's list, that's how I assume the
Even
county.
though my understanding on Friday, when Williamson County starts mailing out their ballots, they're mailing to military overseas.
That's all that they're doing. That's my understanding.
That's
as well,
my understanding.
That's one reason why they couldn't amend the ballot, is
So
because military overseas.
they're going to send that military overseas group a second ballot?
That would be my understanding, because the county attorney stated it would be the same mail-in ballot procedures that the county utilizes. It would just be another ballot. And one thing we have is, and again, because this isn't on the agenda, this is all a fast-moving
Yeah.
train, I was sent yesterday kind of a draft interlocal agreement that he has done with another county. So it would be something that he and I would have to sit down and work it to be specific to this district. But if you all wish to go down that path, I'd like to have a motion and some guidance on that from the board. We'll then, of course, put it on next month's agenda so you can formally vote on it and ratify the decision that you made here. I think we're in the situation in which I don't think you necessarily can wait to make that decision until next month. I think that would be too late.
Can we make a motion today, or is it not on?
Yes, I'm saying you can make a motion tonight, and then at the next meeting, we'll add this discussion on the agenda, and you can go back and formally ratify your motion that you made tonight.
I move that we approve the mailing of ballots to every resident in the district, so they have 2 options to vote.
So that we will be making a request for all ballots to be mailed.
In Williamson County.
In Williamson County. So we are making the request, not the independent resident making the request.
The county has a list of all eligible voters.
You're not answering my question. I'm saying we are ordering the county, requesting the county to mail it to everybody. It's not the actual voter that's calling in or submitting a request.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Correct. It's the county's way and also the district's way to ensure that every single voter has the right to vote.
Okay.
And has the ability to vote. Yes, it's different, of course, in Travis County, but those voters can do what Williamson County should, the normal procedure, exactly. And if in Travis County you request a mail-in ballot, then you get a mail-in ballot.
And it would be on their mail-in ballot.
Yes.
I seconded that motion.
Okay, for any further discussion? Beth?
I think that is a really bad idea.
Okay, do you have any, Kelly?
I hope this isn't improper. I wish we still had some of the candidates here. Carol, would you like to give any input?
Well, I have some questions. I recognize that we have a dilemma, and we've got to find a way, and we've got to find it quickly. And I'm not real comfortable with this massive mail-out, but let me ask you, clarify for me, you're saying mail out to everybody, and you're still going to have a physical site that they will, so will they literally mail that ballot in, or will they bring that ballot here? What?
They would mail the ballot. They would mail the ballot back to the county, and the county would collect and count those mail-in ballots.
Because my past experience with elections, and I've worked those certainly in other places, it takes a while to get mail-in ballots processed. And I don't know what the procedure is for Williamson County. Backing up with my question is, I recognize we have a dilemma, and this is a part of a solution that I'm totally comfortable with, but I can, I guess, swallow it in a sense. But they're going to mail it in, and so it'll take a while. But if they choose to, they will come here and do a vote with a different paper ballot, or will they bring that mail-in?
No. If a resident wishes to come here and vote, then, and this is stuff I still am working through with the attorney. I mean, if Williamson County comes back and says, we only want to do mail-in ballots, period, then this option would go away. But if Williamson County says you could do mail-in ballots and hand count ballots here, paper ballots here, then I think having 2 options would be an appropriate remedy for the situation.
Okay. A couple of more comments or questions. Perhaps this is, again, my past experience has been such that mail-in ballots present a whole other set of things that they have to process with reading them and checking against the walk-in votes as well. Because in past places, in some places, I won't speak to these counties because I don't know anything about these, but they have been a time where we have found there were 2 votes. There was a mail-in and a walk-in vote, because it takes a while to clear, and hopefully that always gets fixed, but it doesn't always. And there are some times when overseas ballots don't get counted at all. And I've known of that in more than one county that has occurred. Let me bring you back to another. If we have a physical building that they walk in to do whatever, there's got to be a place for them to check the sign in and whether they voted someplace or whatever. But you don't really know whether those people have got a mail-in ballot as well.
Yeah.
But the other, I apologize,
No, you're
I'm
fine.
long-winded. In other places, or your standard walk-in place to vote, you have the opportunity for a person who is disabled to some degree can drive up and say, I want a ballot brought to me at my car. Would that be a part of this building?
We will have an ADA compliant electronic voting machine, yes.
But when the people drive up in their car, which is very common, you have a judge who's certified for that process, who walks out to the car with the appropriate credentials and whatever, the ballot itself, and then they fold it and it's put in an envelope out there. He doesn't see it. It's sealed out there and it's brought into the proper place. And so that person has the opportunity of a private hidden vote. Nobody tells him how to vote. That's a question I have, is that I think I'm seeing that we, yes, probably have to have the mail-in, but there's a lot of things connected with that. And so I just ask you if you could clarify some of those.
Yes, and like I've stated before, there's been a lot of moving parts, so we're trying to do everything possible to ensure that the voting procedure that will take place here will match the voting procedure that would take place in any county location across the country. So we want to be able to allow every voter, whether unable to walk or whatever the reason might be, the ability to vote. That's what we're trying to do.
Does Williamson County have any history or input how long it takes them to count mail-in votes?
I would have to talk to them and see.
My issue is that nobody has to drive more than 2 miles to get here. Someone is not filling out someone else's ballot.
I'm not gonna.
Can I make a comment? 'Cause
Well,
I haven't had a
I'll make a
chance.
comment and then it's your turn, because you don't have any further comment, right? Or you
Yeah,
do?
I do. I
Okay,
have
go.
concerns in general
Go for
about
it.
the
Go for
security
it.
of mail-in ballots that are, they're broad concerns and not just with this election. And I'm undecided, so go ahead.
Yeah, I just think, and speaking from my political view on this, that a local government or any kind of government should not be involved in ordering ballots for the district, for the residents. That is a duty and a right that you exercise. And so I think by us stepping in, this is going to convolute the process. And I am in no way, shape, or form in agreement that we, as a local government, going to a county and ordering ballots on behalf of our resident. Not in agreement with that. That is not something that I will definitely support. If we decide to have a polling station, then allow the resident, if they want a mail-in ballot, to call in and make the arrangement themselves.
I think that deadline's passed.
Well,
Is it my turn?
we're not in the business, this district is not in business, none of us in the business of defining equity or equitable actions for the rest of us. So, go on. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I think Williamson County's solution is probably the best solution to not disenfranchise any voter, because the reality is that nobody looks at the MUD's website, advertising, and putting it, people don't look at their water bills. There's no way to really notify everyone in Williamson County, over 1,000 people, hey, you're not going to find this on your ballot. If you want to vote for this, you got to make a second trip. So, again, I think it's the right thing to do so that every voter has an opportunity to vote for this. But since it takes 3 people to make a decision, I'll let that go.
So, I think it was the recommendation of Williamson County that this is probably the best fix. It was the district's mistake that it did not get done appropriately. So I think that the district is already trying to make efforts to have people come have a location, but I agree that with Linda that it will reach every single resident in this district fairly, and we're trying to make it as fair as possible. And we have to, you know, yes, normally it's not the district's responsibility to, like I agree with you, Hanoi, but under these circumstances that it was the MUD's fault that we didn't get on the Williamson County ballot, I think it's the position of the MUD that we should have everybody notified that this is an option. They're still able to come here. If, you know, I understand your hesitation with mail-in ballots as well as Kelly's, and, you know, it's a big controversy if but I think it's a wise decision. I thought Carol said that she was okay with both. She was iffy about it.
I'm uncomfortable.
I think it would be appropriate to really get Chris Rocco's opinion on it. We have Linda's opinion on it, and Cynthia Kimball's opinion would be fair as well. So to have one opinion or two opinions and not the other two is kind of unfair. But Cynthia did text me and she said that she would be okay with both.
And let me just say, when I get back with the county attorney and go through the process, it might be that there, as the county, and again, our conversation was, we'll mail ballots to everybody. He might come back and say, we're only going to mail ballots to the people who have already requested mail-in ballots, which still provides that option to people who have requested it.
I want to clarify that that is a recommendation. That is not a rule in place. So this is something that you and the county attorney have been talking about is based upon recommendation. Every citizen has the right to call in and make a decision themselves. Okay, just want to make that very clear. Yeah, okay,
Can we
go ahead.
move forward?
No, I'm not done talking. But I would disagree with you. You said that this board's position is not to reach out and have ballots mailed out. I would kind of disagree with that statement. Just the fact that we haven't voted on it, so you really can't give the opinion of everybody. That is your opinion.
I'm just giving my straight up opinion.
I know, but you said the whole board.
I'm not saying, no.
No, but I'm just
What
clarifying.
I'm saying is that.
Hold on, I'm just clarifying that your statement said that it's not the board's position to do the mailing ballots, okay? I would say that that statement is false, that we have not voted on it. Once we vote, then you can say, okay, it is the stance of this board. So I just wanted to make that statement.
I just expressed my political opinion, regardless of the vote of this board.
Cole, could I interrupt one more time?
Yes.
Well,
actually, don't ask me, ask.
Well, it is difficult. I totally recognize that, and I want to find a solution. Very bad. For me, it would be more ideal if the county would mail automatically that mail-in ballot to those who have requested the mail-in ballot by virtue of what is the state deadline for doing that sort of thing. Those people who have asked by Hanoi's statement their right to ask for the mail-in ballot, then they would get that additional mail-in ballot piece. I personally, as a resident, particularly as a candidate, yes, I would feel more comfortable with the physical site and provisions being made for anyone who chooses to use the disability access, convenience. I don't know. That's my feeling, my opinion, that if we had both, that the mail-in ballot would be included with their mail-in ballot they have asked for, and then they can come here and vote.
And I'll get an answer from the county attorneys on the mail-in ballot situation. I'll send an email to you all as soon as feasible.
So, but then we can't, we would have to make a vote.
Yes.
Right, what's the time frame, right? It's close.
I think you would keep it broad in the sense of of the option for the county to provide mail-in ballots, whether that's to everyone or just people who request it, or no mail-in ballots whatsoever, and you elect not to go down that path.
Can we make a motion?
If you're trying to do a specific motion.
Well, there's a motion on the table, so.
We haven't made a motion yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there's
made
a
a motion,
I
and she
seconded
seconded it. That's why we're discussing it.
Go ahead.
So we still need to vote on
So you
that
stick
motion.
with your motion, okay.
And then if there's another motion to be made, then, so.
All right, can we move on then to vote
Sure.
on this discussion, or we
Can we
need further
restate the
discussion?
motion,
Can you
please?
restate your motion?
Would you?
Motion is to approve mail-in ballots from Williamson County. I mean, I'm not trying to throw a wrinkle in this, but if I'm gonna get an answer, so if, 72-hour meeting notice requirements, if you all want to have a meeting to discuss, you can have as many meetings as you want to do that, and I can provide information as I receive it. I mean, I'm not advocating for you all to make blind decisions. I'm just stressing the situation that we're in and trying to ensure that we can come up with the best possible solution given the circumstances that we're in. So again, I leave that up to the board completely to make your own decision on that. I don't want to be an influence on anybody.
So shall we vote?
Should we wait until you have more information to make this motion?
We need to do that.
That's completely up to you all.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are we ready to vote? Should we go ahead and do a vote? Okay, so all in favor of the motion?
That's fair.
Can you make a motion, because you said it very well.
No, the motion has been made. She seconded the motion.
And the motion failed.
And the motion failed.
Correct. So
Can you
no
make a
ma-
new motion?
No mailing ballots.
Yes, that's what we, yes.
So the three of you are no?
No mailing ballots.
Is there another motion you'd like to make?
That would be my motion for no mail-in ballots.
That was
Unless
already
people
done.
already
So there's
have
no-
them.
yeah.
Right, so no mailing ballots.
Okay.
Hey, Cole, quick question.
So I'll call the county.
If the election is contested, we would have to have another election, correct? Or if it, okay, can you explain if it was
All
contested?
right, I think we got to move on to next business item. Unless the board, do we want to continue
Can I
the
ask
agenda?
a question about,
Well, we voted and
Kelly,
we,
can I ask?
give me
Cole a
one
question
second,
about-
give me 1 second. I'm trying to ask the question to keep the order of the business. Do we continue with agenda item? We voted, we're ready to move on. Should we move on?
Please.
I'm asking.
Please, move on.
All right,
Kelly, well, I had,
all right, so
Kelly, I
let's
would
go
like
ahead and
to-
do
Oh, no, hold on, let me
item
ask-
number 6, committee assignments and
This is not
reports.
fair.
A, Parks Committee.
One person made a decision.
yeah, well,
Well, we voted,
No, we
we,
didn't
well, we
vote.
can still ask
we
questions.
voted,
still
we're going to
talk.
move on to the next agenda item.
I'm asking
We
Kelly.
have 15 minutes
This is not
left.
fair.
Parks Committee.
All right, and just very briefly, if we need, this is a timely and urgent issue, we may need to devote a whole meeting to it, and I'm not opposed to that. I just want to put that out there. Okay.
The parks?
No,
The
the
election.
election, the
Oh,
election,
okay.
yeah.
But it's difficult to address it fully within the time constraints of all of our other regular business. But it is something that deserves more discussion, I think. Parks, Director Jones reminded me that it's time to start thinking about Christmas lights, which we kind of let fall by the wayside inadvertently last year. So the Parks Committee is in agreement to ask Mackenzie to start gathering some quotes for lights in the parks as we've had in previous years.
Can we get different options on, so we're looking for exactly the same that we've always done, or are we looking for maybe a little less, maybe a little more, like, can we get different?
What you can do is, if there are, and this could be a Parks Committee decision, if there are specific parks y'all would like to see them at, like the gazebos hold them well, places that hold them well. I will say putting wreaths up on the walls, they tend to disappear. They're hard to keep secured over time, things like that. So if you stick to things that where, like structures that are actually meant for lights and things like that, you're better off. So yes, I would say you could maybe dwindle down a little and not do reset every intersection of every subdivision, things like that, and focus on just where we can actually put them up in the parks. And then get quotes from a couple different local companies.
Yeah, definitely we want this to be low maintenance, low maintenance. We don't want to waste a lot of resources on it. But we don't need a motion because we're just asking you to get some quotes,
It's-
right?
Correct.
I think that's it for parks.
Can you give us an amount so we can amend the budget and only once and include this?
The last several years, it was just under 10,000, so I think if you budgeted 10, knowing that we're gonna do less, you should come in under, given inflation costs and labor costs, because we haven't done it in a year and a half to almost 2 years, so.
So 11,000. Thank you. 10,000.
All right, deed restriction committee.
We had a few complaints over the month. They are in the spreadsheet. Ultimately, none of them were actionable. One was not a deed issue. Another person, we can't verify what section they live in to verify that they're complaining about a home in the same section. We did have a couple of complaints from back in July that we had neglected to bring, inadvertently neglected to bring to the board, and that was about a couple of addresses on Texas Oak Way that have installed front yard perimeter security fences. And this has been something that we've been talking about and researching. So in 2021, the legislature passed a broad HOA reform bill. It was hotly contested, hotly debated, but as part of this HOA reform bill, basically HOAs, since the passage of that bill, are prohibited from prohibiting perimeter or security fences in the front yard. And knowing that now that we have 2 HOAs in our district who are now prohibited from enforcing the front yard security fence, even if it's against the deed, the 2 arguments that I have are, first of all, I doubt that the legislature intended to exclude residents of the MUD from that protection. I think because this was an HOA reform bill, that's why HOAs are mentioned. So there's that, but also we don't want to have that inequity between the residents of different sections in our district. We don't want to have the residents of the HOA enjoying the protection that the legislature granted them of being able to have the front yard fence, and yet us potentially going after residents in the non-HOA sections for the same thing. So with permission, I would like to move up, it's under new business, the resolution for front yard fences. So I've basically drafted a resolution for front yard fences that lays out exactly as I've just said.
Are they open or closed fences?
There's photos of them that the complainant submitted, and I put those in the deed restriction folder so you can see those 2 fences. But clearly the legislature intended that Texans should have the right to protect their property. And so I'm proposing that we adopt the resolution that we will not enforce deed restrictions concerning a perimeter security fence that extends past the front wall of the home as it sits on the property.
And I'm all about protecting your property. That's a constitutional right, so.
Is that a motion?
I'll second that motion.
I move we adopt the resolution for front yard fences, and you seconded.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Depends on what they look like.
We don't, the MUD doesn't have the authority to decide whether it's good or bad,
That would be
under any circumstances.
Architectural Control Committee.
I don't want, I mean, if they had them in my front yard and it was all the 8-foot fence all through the front yard, it's gonna be hard to sell my house.
Freedom, America, gotta love it.
I moved here because of these.
All right, so we have a second. Beth,
I just shared.
Okay, any further comment?
No.
Got it? Yeah, I'm a proponent that it's your property, and we do not have an architectural committee that can regulate that, how that fence looks, and there's legislation in place. We've done the research together in committee level, and I'm in full support of that resolution.
I have no objection to the resolution whatsoever. I also agree that people have a right to secure their property. But I need to know from you, Cole, when a resolution is necessary to not enforce an item outlined in the deed. When does it require a resolution to not enforce?
A resolution to not enforce.
So we don't have resolutions for what's listed on the website
No.
is a motorcycle and,
I think the resolution, please jump in if I'm wrong, but my understanding of this resolution is that because it conflicts with state law regarding HOAs, and this district has active HOAs and not active HOAs, and the MUDs has taken on the responsibility of enforcing deed restrictions on behalf of inactive HOAs within the district, this resolution is simply meant to clarify that the MUD is not going to step in and restrict your right to construct a fence. And so I think that falls a little bit separately than, something like a motorcycle law. Clearly there's no legislation out there that discusses motorcycles on the lawn, and the HOA can't enforce that. So I think that's at least kind of my understanding of what this resolution is.
And I would also like to say that part of the reason that I made this a resolution is that this is an acknowledgement of the law that as it has, state law that has been passed. And, boards turn over, boards change, and I'd like to leave a paper trail for future boards so they can plainly see why we did this.
No, I'm with Hanoi and Beth, not Beth, sorry. Hanoi, Linda, and Kelly, that, everybody has the right to protect their property.
And having a security fence is one option, and I'm all for it.
There's ways to do it though, so it's not ugly.
This is the attorney from Williamson County, so I'm going to try and get an answer.
All right, so should we go ahead and vote on this item?
I'll take notes.
I'll take notes. Okay, all in favor? And you a no?
I'm actually going to say, I want it on record that the reason why I'm saying no is because there should be a way that these are not ugly. There should be
You want me to put that in your note?
Well, yeah, it's fine to
Okay.
have it, there just needs to be separate ways of doing it. So that it's not unattractive to the
Not ugly. Got it.
unattractive to the residents.
I got it. I got it.
All right, we got it.
Four yeses, one
no.
abstention, one no.
I would like to make a motion here in this spot, though, related to this agenda item.
Related to deed restrictions committee?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I move that the Deed Enforcement Committee place all deed violation complaints, any replies sent by the committee to the complainant, any legal communications sent to the alleged violator in a folder on the district share drive that's already created for that purpose.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Beth? Any comments? Kelly? I don't have.
The only reason that I'm asking for this is so that, as Kelly noted, as the board changes over, answers to people in the future are consistent, and the way violations are handled will be consistent. And that also records the things that we're not going to enforce and leaves a paper trail for that as well. And because the MUD website is not current, right now it says they don't enforce one motorcycle parked in the driveway, and there's one other thing out there on the MUD's website, it escapes me right now. But it's not the list of things that this board has agreed not to enforce. So if you're not going to update the website with accuracy, then put a folder out there so that I can keep up what items you're not enforcing. And I think the board has a right to see every piece of correspondence that comes in on this topic. because committees don't make decisions, the board makes decisions. So you bring your recommendation to the board, but you don't make decisions. If you want to do that, you have to do it in an open, public meeting.
I want to make it clear that we do not make decisions at committee level.
Good.
So,
I believe in transparency, and all the board members have the right to see anything that goes on, the business of the MUD. So to have a folder that just has any email or correspondence or anything, I think it's pretty fair to have all the information available to all the board members. And that's just a little transparency. That's it. Thank you.
all right, can we move forward to vote on this item? Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right, all in favor? Okay.
Can we go to 8A?
8A.
Yes, please.
Okay. Are we okay with going to 8A? It's 8:30 already, so I'm going to need a motion to extend the time.
I move we extend the meeting by 5 minutes.
Okay, so I'll second that. All in favor of extending the meeting by 5 minutes?
I'm a no vote on that.
Yes.
Okay, so we're extending by 5 minutes. Should we go ahead? So you're suggesting to move item 8A up?
Yes, please.
Kelly, are you in agreement with
Yes.
that? I'm in agreement with that.
Nope.
Yep. Okay.
Take it in order.
Well, majority have stated that's okay. So
Okay, I'd like to discuss and make a motion to adopt our financial services with Artisan. If you look under the agenda, item number 3, under the bookkeeper's report, I fully believe we need to follow the forms that have been given by Artisan. You can look at what they are. And the reason is for that is because I would like to make sure that we can stay the same as what they're using in all their districts. I think that's really important that we do that. The reasons why I think that is, one, the staff is trained for the forms that they have. It's less mistakes for them and hopefully for us that we won't have to stop and do. It removes less chance of the errors. Also, for the expense reimbursement, it's all in the Excel, calculates the mileage. It's exactly what the IRS wants. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything else. It's exactly what the auditors want. I think it's crazy that we're using different forms than what other people use. So they're on there. The director's expense report is the only thing. We'd be going to what all the other MUDs use with Artisan, and also with the director's signatures on mileage, which not a lot of us use that anyways, but it just goes back to the same forms for everybody across the board. Can I open this for discussion or ask for a second for that? So what I'm asking for is that we please draft a resolution that we can use the same forms that they're using for everybody, so it makes it easier for our job and for their job, for less errors.
So you're basically saying to approve the use of that form instead of the form that we're having?
Yes,
Okay, I'll
it's
second
crazy that we're doing something different. And I have one other one with that as well.
Okay, we have a second. Do you have any comment?
I have no objection to using this form. I don't know if maybe you're going to next talk about establishing some formal guidelines around when to submit. And we had also talked about...
If we can put it all in the same, that would be great.
That we don't even need to use this Excel form if you want to just send an email to the accountant, by the 5th of the month or whenever we decide, with your activities for that month. They will then, where's that? The accountant, as this was explained to me, will then take your information, and they will put it in this form and have it ready for us with our check at the next meeting.
That's simple.
And it's much simpler for them. It's their standard procedure. I like it. I think it'll lead to streamlining our expenses.
And if it helps, we can also put the resolution in there at the same time, that we do this for every 3 months, that you can only go back 3 months to get your expense reports, Because they should not be having to wait all year for us to submit those. It needs to all be done within 3 months. If not, you're not going to get paid.
Okay, so we have 2 minutes left. I don't have any further comment. I like the idea of streamlining the process. I like the form, so go ahead.
Artesian's contract clearly states that they work for this district and they follow our stuff. So I have not even looked at any of that. I think that is just an excuse for poor performance on their part. So I'm not in favor of changing anything to make their life easier. My life is pretty simple using the form I have.
David?
I'm okay with changing the form, it's just a form, no big deal.
Do you want to put these motions together?
Mackenzie, what form did prior board members use, do you know? Because we used to submit to you.
Well, we used to submit them to Michael.
Okay, do you know what form they used?
I have
And is it the same that we're using now?
I think some of you have used it. I don't know if you consistently used it.
Okay.
But yeah,
So,
I think y'all have used it.
It was just a question on what form they use in the prior.
And they want us to sign that first and then they'll fill it in? I don't sign anything that's not
No,
filled
you
in.
sign it at the meeting.
Oh, sign it at the
So what
meeting.
happens is 5 days ahead of the meeting or whatever date y'all set, y'all make sure all of your per diems, everything you're claiming is sent into them. They go in and they fill out that form for you, it's printed and sent with your checks. They'll put it at your places, when you get to the meeting, you go over, you verify that what you sent them is transposed correctly onto that
So much
form.
easier.
Okay.
And then you just sign it to say, okay,
Yeah.
I'm verifying that what's on my form is correct.
Sure. Okay.
All right,
Oh, how will they share that with the board? How will they put that in the packet? Oh, I
It's
guess,
gonna be attached in your check packet, so
So-
all of you would see it.
okay,
But it would, so that's the only thing is it would be one of those things you get at the meeting.
gotcha.
And then the way that I understand it, and I don't know if y'all are gonna do this, if you do move forward with direct deposit, the very next day, so long as all of you signed your forms and everyone agreed, you would receive your direct deposit or check or however you decide to get paid.
All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
All right. So we'll approve the form.
I'm a no.
And then can I do this last one? It's very quick.
Yeah,
on
but
that
we need to
last
extend
one.
the time. We're past the time. So somebody needs to submit a motion to extend the time. And Cole,
3
I don't know if
minutes.
you have,
I have an update too. so-
if he has an update, how long do you think it'll take this update? And if this is going
I
to open
can
up the
give
room
you-
for
I can
another
give you-
30 minutes
yeah,
of discussion?
No, I mean, I can give you an update in 30 seconds, but if you want to do another
I just
5-minute
need 3
extension
minutes.
for this motion, I won't be fast. I just have, all I have is the information.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I
the
move that we extend the meeting for 10 minutes.
I'll second that. Okay, all right. Go on.
Okay, the next one is I'd like to draft a resolution that after October's meeting, 2024, no director can claim a per diem older than 90 days old. That's fair. There's mistakes that happen when you wait a year to do that. Most of us do not, but we need to make sure that we are submitting these within 90 days. Can we please get a second on that?
I second that.
Thank you.
Okay, so within 90 days,
Yes, it's long enough time.
discussion?
I think it's fair to everybody because I know that I can't remember what everybody did with it a year ago or 11 months ago. I think that this keeps it clean. I think it keeps it respectful. Nobody's getting paid twice. Nobody has to be reimbursed. That's how I feel.
No, I don't have it.
Who seconded that?
Kelly
Kelly.
seconded it, yeah.
I have no objection to the 90 days old, but somebody in this room submitted something for over a year's worth of per diems. Was it you?
That was Jenna when she left.
No, recently in this year, $7,600. Who got back per diems? Is Kara on the phone?
No, my laptop died, so she's on the live stream.
I'll get it through open records. They paid somebody $7,600 in back pay of per diems, which is greater than the amount allowed per year for one director.
I think a lot of that was backlog of not being paid when Infomark was on board.
I went back and looked, and everybody at this table was current, up to date. Beth is the only one who hadn't submitted a per diem in over a year. So I don't know who they paid, but they
Not
did
over a
it
year,
without
that
board
means-
approval. They did not produce the fees of office forms for review, and they didn't take it out of the cadence checking. I don't know where they paid it from, but they did not pay it out of the payroll account.
That's even more the reason to do what we're doing.
Yep.
So it doesn't ever happen again.
David?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right, so all in favor? All right, go ahead.
Okay, the mail-in ballots for Williamson County, they would go to all residents residing in Williamson County who are eligible to vote and have requested mail-in ballots previously. So it would not go to people who would not get, who have not made the request, who would be blindly hit with that. That was my misunderstanding. So it's obviously, it's all eligible voters who have already made the request or who are eligible to receive mail-in ballots would get these ballots.
So not everybody.
So not everybody. It would just be the people who have, yeah. That's,
You're worried for nothing.
so that, and then so you'd have that with the voting in person.
Do we have any questions on that?
Nope. Great answer.
And do you still want to not allow that option?
So you have to allow that option, the request,
Well,
the voter
for the mud,
requested.
for the mud ballots.
If, so,
So
my
this-
understanding, if somebody asks for a mail-in ballot, we still have, shouldn't they do that automatically, or the MUD has to send it? It's
So,
very confusing.
so, okay, so because the director's election is on the Williamson County ballot, traditionally, if you've asked for, let's say, are you in Williamson County? Okay, you've asked for a mail-in ballot. You would get that ballot, and that MUD election would be on there, so you could do it at home and send it back, right? But because it's not on there, you would have to come here to vote, even though you've requested that mail-in, because you're not on that Williamson County ballot. So what Williamson County is saying is, they're saying, we will create a separate ballot for the director's election. So for every single person in Williamson County who has already requested mail-in ballots, who's eligible to receive mail-in ballots, who are eligible voters residing within the district, they've made that request already. We will send a supplementary ballot to those voters for just the district election that would accompany, probably in a separate mailing, but would accompany that other ballot. So it would not go to everybody. It would just be the people who are already utilizing that request would be able to utilize it for the MUD voting.
I'm all for that. It's
Okay.
the voter has to make the decision to ask for a mailing ballot. We
Okay.
should not be forcing people's ballot. That's just,
So if
Yes.
So, do we need a motion?
I would like that because I'm going to need to work on an interlocal agreement with Williamson County to be able to have a contract so that they know that they can do that, yes.
yeah, unless I see that contract, I'm not voting on that. I just want to make sure that is those that are registered that make the request, right?
That's exactly 100% what it will be. And that's what the contract will state. And that's also, yes, they would not be able to do that. But you don't have to approve the contract. We'll need your signatures, but eventually for you to sign it. But I'll need the authority to start working on that contract so I can bring it back, because they're going to need to get ballot proofs to be able to print those ballots to be able to send them. So if this is a path that the board is interested in going down, I just really need a motion for you all to authorize me with a broad stroke to go down that path.
I move that you broad stroke that path and take care of it. Bring it to the board at the next meeting and we'll bless it there. Can I get a second? Thank you. I didn't write that one down. I'm not going to be able to confirm that motion. But
Can you write it exactly as you said it?
yes, I will, actually.
So we have a motion and a second.
Okay, all in favor?
Emily, what was your vote?
I'm going to abstain, and the reason of abstention is I would like to see, I need to do investigation myself first. I need to call in and check, so.
Okay. And I can give you the attorney's phone number if you want to call him.
Yeah, if you can do that.
All right, thank you. So I'm moving forward on that path.
Do we need to call a special meeting for the election for any, just because it's so time sensitive, I guess if we don't need it, we don't have to have it, but at least put it on the books, so this way, if a decision needs to be made, we can make one, or do you think?
Do we need a meeting for an extra meeting for election, or?
Well, we've just agreed to
Right.
send the ballots to everyone who has requested a mail-in ballot. Is there any further discussion on that?
Would you recommend to have one on the books just in case?
I mean, I think if y'all want to set a special meeting for in 2 weeks, maybe halfway between your regular meeting, and if something comes up where we need to sit down and discuss it as a board, we do that. Otherwise, you can just cancel it and move forward. I mean, you don't necessarily, I mean, it's up to you all.
We
I think
may-
just to cover and just to be on the safe side, if anything arises.
I mean, if there's anything that arises, then if you can let us know, we can always call a special meeting.
My plan is to keep the full board in the loop with every step of the way moving forward, so you all are well aware of what's going on and can follow the procedure and the process. So inevitably, you all will receive, are going to get questions from people, so I want to make sure y'all are the most informed with this. We're also going to be putting stuff out on the website, Waterbill to see the website, sending out flyers. We're going to do everything we possibly can to ensure that every single person is informed. And Carol, I can send you everything as well, so if you have people in your neighborhood who want to take a look, you can send that to them or direct them to the district's website.
I think you need to send all information to all the candidates, that way nobody's left out.
I'm going to keep that as a separate email separate and apart
Yes.
from the board emails, but yes, I'm
Same
going to keep
information.
all the candidates updated with the steps forward, yes. That's all I have.
All right, well, we are past our time, so I move that we adjourn this meeting.
I second that.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor? Meeting adjourned.